Hey, I'm Chad Withrow, owner and operator of TNHighSchoolFootball.com, and I want to say thank you for being a part of the first year of the Tennessee High School Football app. We really appreciate your support of high school football and helping spread the word throughout your community and really throughout the world with this app, with live up-to-the-minute scores. Thanks to all of our scorekeepers out there, and we love our partnership with Ball Frog and what we're going to bring to you this season. We're going to show you exactly how to operate the app with this video. And I want everyone out there to know, you can put as much info with your team as you want. If you've got news stories you want to post, if you want to post rosters, please do that. And this can start as early as this Friday with jamborees all over the state. So feel free to update at the end of every quarter as scores happen and put as much info as you can into the site. And remember, it's really simple. In the Apple Store with Google Play, just simply go, download the app. It's right there. Search TN High School Football. So now, without further ado, we've got Jason Meese. He's a lot better with a technical angle than I am. He's going to explain exactly how to operate the site. Once again, thank you for being a part of the first year of the TN High School Football app.
Let's walk through this part of the initial part of getting the app up and running. So, assuming everyone has the app downloaded either from the iOS or Android store. If not, they'll need to go find it searching for TNHighSchoolFootball.com. Once it's downloaded onto their phone, they can open it up and they'll have the opportunity to put their email in. So I've got my email in there and I'm going to go ahead and hit send verification. And pretty quickly an email will come out to me with a 4-digit code. And there it is. So I'm going to enter that 6327. And this should drop me right back into the app. There we go. So I'm in now. Once you're in the app as a reporter, you want to make sure that you're following the correct team. So whichever team you will be reporting for, you want to make sure that you've added them. You'll want to go into the tab called Teams. And if you don't see them there, you want to hit plus add a team. Hit that button and it will give you a search window. We'll type in Knoxville as an example. And let's say we want to start following Knoxville Catholic. We're just going to hit that plus sign. So whatever school they want to follow, they just hit the plus sign, then hit close, and that school will now be a part of the roster of schools they're following, or it may be the only school that they're following. So once that's in place, then you simply click on the school that you're going to be reporting for, and you'll see that it's laid out in the way that you've got 4 primary tabs. You've got latest, which is really the news feed, schedule, scores, and the roster. The first section I'm going to run through here with you is the schedule section. So let's click on over to that. This is where the reporters are either going to see a completed schedule or they may see no games listed yet. Let's start with the situation where they'll see this schedule. I'm going to use Franklin High School as our example. So we've got a schedule showing. You could scroll up and down and see the full schedule of all the games that look like they're in place for the 2018 season. If a reporter needs to edit a game, they have to select the game first. So I'll click on this first game, Franklin Brentwood High School. And once I'm in this screen, which is called the game view, you could see we have the 2 teams and we have a grid that would show all the scores once the reporting actually starts for that game. But let's say there was something they needed to edit about this game. And this will be a recurring theme throughout, which is to hit those 3 dots in the upper right-hand corner. That opens up the admin functions. And in this case, you have the option to report a score, edit game details, or delete a game. Once those fields are filled out or changed, then they just hit save. And that permanently changes that game in the schedule. So let's go back out here and look at this. Now, in the case where there might be a game that's missing, again, we're going to hit this admin function up here, and we're going to hit add game this time. This will give you a blank form. The reporters can then fill in who the opponents are, the colors, date and time, again, which is optional, and the location. All those things can be filled in, and then once those fields, the required fields are in place, you hit save. Now let's take a look at the scores section. Now what you'll see on the scores tab are games that are either in progress or that have already happened. So this will be a running total of all the games that have happened previously, or if anything's in motion, that's where you'll find the games, and that's how reporters will access those games once they've started reporting on them. But let's back out for a minute. We'll go back to schedule. And let's assume we're going to start scoring this Brentwood High School game. And actually, you know what I'm going to do before that? I'm going to go back in here and I'm just going to add a game so we can play around with this and not mess up the schedule. So we're going to add a game. We're going to say against the Broncos. And we'll make it for today. Home. All right. Now we've got a game that we can actually start scoring. So to start, just click on the game. This will open up the window. Again, we're going to hit this admin function up here by hitting the 3 dots. And we're going to select report a score. So some important elements here or steps that each reporter needs to take. They need to make sure that they select a status each time they report a score. So in this case, we're going to report a score for the first quarter that has Franklin with 3 and the Broncos with 7. Now we can add comments here. What a great game. We can also add a photo, and this is optional. Comments are required. The photo is optional, and I think we should encourage users to add photos where possible. It's not a must, but it's a nice thing to have when you can. So we'll hit that. We'll just hit select photo, and you can go to your camera roll, pick a picture. Once everything's in place, you have to decide if you want to send a push notification. That would go out to anybody who is a follower of that team. For right now, I'm just going to leave that to set to the off position so we don't send this out to anybody that's following Franklin. And once everything's in place, you just hit publish. All right, so once we hit publish, it's going to bring up a screen that asks us to review all the information we've input. If everything looks good, we're going to hit it's right and submit it. If not, we can hit that oops, I need to edit that on the bottom, and it'll take us right back in there to fix anything we need to correct. So I'm going to hit it's right. And now we can see here that we've got the scores: Broncos 7, Franklin 3. And we've got the update here that shows that same score with the photo that we put in. So everything looks good there. Now here's the important part of this that I think we need to make sure every reporter is aware of. As we go back in to update scores, we literally are reporting the current score. So let's say by the second quarter, and I'll select second quarter, that it's now the total score is 10-14. And I'm not going to do any of this stuff because we just went over that, but I'll hit publish. So we're seeing here now that it shows accurately that in the first quarter it was 7-3. In the second quarter, both teams have scored 7, and we have a total of 14-10. So the reporters need to input the current total score at the time they're reporting, not what the incremental score was. So if it was a touchdown that got added, they don't want to put in the 7, they want to put in the total of the score at that time. And the app will automatically break down the scoring by quarter. So that looks good. We're going to add that update. And as we back out and look at the rest of the app, we could see that some of those updates have come out through the news feed and the scoreboard. If we go back to teams and we're looking for Franklin, we'll see that that's also showing up on the Franklin page. And now we're seeing that game showing up under the scores tab. All right, so that's scoring in a nutshell. Let's continue on the scoring theme. Just to finish off that section, there was one part I did not get in the previous video clip. So I'm going to go back into this Broncos Franklin. And then real quickly, let's finalize this game. So we're going to go to report a score. We're going to roll all the way out here to the F. We're not going to change anything. The score remained the same towards the end. We're going to toggle that off for now, but reporters can certainly leave that on to report and push a notification for a final game. And we're going to hit publish. That all looks good. And now we could see that game status has changed to final. And that'll be true across the board. We'll see that as we go through the news feed to show updates for that score. Scoreboard should show it as a final now. And let's talk about the news section. So here's a view within the team pages. the reporters will only be able to put in news for their teams. So under the latest tab that we have selected, again, we're going to go to this admin tools up under the three dots in the right corner. And you can see right at the top of the list, we can add a news item. And here there's multiple ways to do this. If you drop in a URL, it's going to ask you if you want to automatically pull in the content from that URL, which would then populate the title, the content, and a photo. So that'll all happen automatically if someone pastes in a URL from out on the web, anywhere from your website to, the Tennessean. So that's an easy way to pull news items in from other sources. The other way to use this, of course, is for the reporter to put in a news alert or some kind of an announcement coming directly from the team. So in this case, let's just test it with a game canceled alert. And you always have to have the content field filled out. So in the content section, we'll put due to bad weather, game is canceled. And again, it's optional. You don't have to have a photo, but we want to encourage the reporters to do that. It definitely helps make the content more engaging. Now the new something new here that they'll see, you can add this news item to the main news feed. I think unless it's something really critical or important to share, they probably won't want to do that. But if it's an impressive news article or something that they're pasting in from another source, they could just toggle that on. So when it's green, that means it will do it. Same thing, the notifications, it'll push out a notification to the followers of that team if this is lit up green. So for now, we'll just turn that off and we'll hit publish. And we could see here right off the top on the latest news that game has been canceled. Now, if we put out an alert or a post like this that we don't want to stay out there, simply hit those three dots from within the capsule there and hit delete. I'm going to show you and talk through a little bit here on how once you're in the team view, you can actually update some of the information that shows up for the team. So let's start with that. Let's hit those three dots, show the admin functions, and you'll see towards the bottom here you can actually edit the team details. Now here, this comes in pre-populated, so the name and the sport, right now they're both sitting as football, and there's no reason, they don't need to change that. Their name is already has been imported into the system, so they really don't need to touch those fields. Where they could pick up and start editing would be to insert the team's official Twitter handle. If they want to pull in tweets from the team, they can also change or update the selected color. And then they can also update the team photo. So this would be the image that's kind of the default across the team section for anything that needs a header image. So those are all the things that go into editing the team details. I'm going to hit save. And that's important anytime anybody's updating any of these forms or fields, is to make sure that they hit save. All right, now let's jump over to roster. In this view, most of the reporters are going to come in and probably see either no roster, or they're going to see something like this, which may be a roster from the 2017 season. So going on that basis, let's assume that the 2017 roster is in place and that we need to update it. So from this view, again, you can hit those three dots. And if we need to add players, we would simply hit the add player button. If we need to delete a player, we just simply open up that profile and hit delete. So as I'm showing you, as you work down through the roster, the reporters can delete all of the players that are not still playing in the 2018 season, and they can use this admin function by adding a player to get that roster completely up to date and have it reflect what the team's roster is for the 2018 season. So I think those are all the high points that should give you enough to work with to take people through the main sections of the app that they'll be using as a reporter.